The Rapides School Board held its monthly meeting tonight and multiple items were discussed. Our Jay McCulley was in attendance and joins us now to break it all down. Jay, what do Rapides Parish parents need to know?
Rob, the first thing parents need to know is that 3 Pineville schools will be rezoned for the next academic school year. Now those schools are Leslie Moore, Pineville Elementary, and J.I. Barron. According to Superintendent Jeff Powell, the school board previously reconfigured schools. He says that created lower and upper elementary schools. Leslie Moore currently serves pre-K through 3rd grade. Pineville Elementary serves 4th through 6th grade. J.I. Barron currently serves pre-K through 6th grade. Tonight, the school board approved a motion to redraw the lines, meaning students will attend either Pineville Elementary or Leslie Moore from pre-K through 6th grade.
What research says is the longer students can stay under one roof and matriculate through the education system, the stronger we can build their academic growth. So as opposed to having multiple transitions between the start of school and getting to high school, we're limiting those transitions from one grade level to the next.
Now, these changes will be implemented for the 2026 to 2027 school year. Powell says the school board will begin informing parents in these specific school zones about the next steps in a few weeks. The school board also addressed having chaplains as volunteers in schools. A recent state law adopted by the Louisiana legislature says a school board can employ or accept a certified chaplain as a volunteer to provide support or services to students or staff. Now, with that law comes school board policy that aligns with the law, which the school board voted on tonight.
The wording on a policy tonight was just to reflect what the legislature passed. Obviously, our board voted to not have a policy, but it doesn't change the fact that there is a law on the books that allows for chaplains in schools.
As you just heard from the superintendent, the motion failed, with board members voting 5-4 in opposition. To see the vote tally and to learn more about the school board's volunteer policy, you can head to our website. The topic of maintenance within the school board system was addressed as well. Superintendent Powell says the school board has been in talks for months to do a, quote, huge reorganizing of the maintenance and facilities department in a phased approach ahead of the 2026 to 2027 school year. That includes considerations of new job descriptions and salary increases for various positions, as well as creating a new position, Supervisor of Facilities Maintenance and Improvement. A motion creating the position was passed by the school board. Powell says the reorganizing of the Maintenance and Facilities Department is funded through a parish-wide maintenance tax. He says the primary focus of the new position is to have an improvement plan for all Rapides Parish facilities and to streamline the work orders the school board receives.
We process approximately 10,000 work orders throughout the year and to begin to organize the work that's going on, whether it's skilled labor, whatever it is, to make sure that we're not just maintaining the millions and millions of dollars of facilities that we have, but we're also having an active plan to improve each one of them.
Powell says the supervisor position for facilities maintenance and improvement should be posted in 2 days. He says once a candidate is hired, the goal is to have them start immediately. As always, we'll continue to keep you updated on any developments with the school board. Rob?